Now, I like science. I'm not against science. And I do resent, though, people trying to assume that evolution is part of science. Evolution is not part of science. Evolution is a religion. It's mixed in with science, I understand. But that doesn't make it part of science. Beer is often sold at football games. Beer has nothing to do with football, and beer does not become athletic by association with football, okay? So, and evolution does not become science because it's stirred into a science book, okay? Evolution's a religion. Now, let's define a few terms. The word evolution has at least 6 different meanings or levels or stages. First, it would have to be cosmic evolution, the origin of time, space, matter. Secondly, there'd have to be chemical evolution. According to the Big Bang Theory, the Big Bang produced hydrogen. Okay, then how did we get all these elements? You want me to believe that uranium evolved from hydrogen? They'll say, oh yeah, fusion happens in stars. Well, you got 2 problems now. Number 1, you can't fuse past iron. Number 2, you got a chicken and an egg problem. Did the elements come before the stars? The elements make up the stars, and the stars make up the elements. Which one came first? They got a real chicken and an egg problem when it comes to chemical evolution. Thirdly, there'd have to be stellar evolution. Somehow the stars have to evolve. We've never seen one form. We see stars blow up all the time, called novas or supernovas. And yet there's enough stars out there that are now known. The current last estimate was 70 sextillion stars in the universe that we've observed, which means about 11 trillion per person. Those are the ones we know about. We don't know about the ones that we don't know about. Okay? Fourthly, there's going to have to be organic evolution, the origin of life. Somehow life has to get started from non-living material. The evolutionists are still left 200 years behind the times in science. They still believe non-living material can spontaneously generate. That's been proven wrong several hundred years ago. Francisco Redi, Louis Pasteur. Now, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I don't care what you believe. But don't call it science. They'll say, I read Dr. Shermer's book about, oh, they're doing experiments now, trying to do these. Okay, well, you do all the experiments you want. But meanwhile, it hasn't been done. Okay? Nobody's made life. And if a bunch of intelligent people do get together and make life, that would prove it takes intelligence to make life. Duh. Okay? Number 5, we have what's called macroevolution. That's where you change from one kind of animal to another. Nobody's ever seen a dog produce a non-dog. Now, if you want to believe a dog came from a non-dog, you believe whatever you want. But don't call it science, number 1, and don't make me pay to teach it to all the kids in school like it's science. That's your religion. You teach that in a private school at your expense. Okay? Number 6, we have what's called microevolution. I object to the term. I think it's a lousy term, but they use it, so I'll explain it. Microevolution tells us there are variations within the kinds. Big dogs, little dogs, straight hair, curly hair, I agree. That happens. The first 5, though, are purely religious. Nobody's ever observed any of these. So when I talk about evolution tonight, I am not talking about variations within the kind. Speciation. I'm not talking about that. I'm not sure who's deciding when we have a new species anyway. Somebody decided a dog and a wolf are different species. Okay, but a 5-year-old knows they're the same kind of animal. Okay? A horse and a zebra are different species, but they're still the same kind of animal. 4-wheel drive, genuine leather upholstery. Okay? So, evolution theory teaches 20 billion years ago, or sometime in the past like that, there was a big bang where nothing exploded. And then 4.6 billion years ago, the earth cooled down. And then it rained on the rocks for millions of years and turned them into soup, and the soup came alive 3 billion years ago. This is what the books teach. Okay, that's the Big Bang Theory. 18 or 20 billion years ago, Big Bang. 4.6 billion years ago, the earth cooled down. Planet Earth cooled and a rocky surface was created. This is what all the textbooks teach, okay? Then as the earth formed, it was hot, and it was large pools of bubbling lava, but it slowly cooled down. And then, boys and girls, millions of years of torrential rains created great oceans. And swirling in the waters of the oceans is a bubbling broth of complex chemicals. Progress from a complex chemical soup to a living organism is very slow. Sure is. It don't even happen. That's how slow it is. This guy said the first self-replicating systems must have emerged in this organic soup. So their theory would say 20 billion years ago, Big Bang, 4.6 billion years ago, the earth cooled down, it rained on the rocks for millions of years, turned them into soup, and the soup came alive 3 billion years ago. And so there's Grandpa right there. Okay. Now, there's no question there's a wide variety of dogs in the world. The question is, does that variation we see tell us there is infinite varieties available? No. I don't think the dogs came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago. Okay. So the first 5 are purely religious. Number 6 is science. But they try to skip the first 4 all the time. I see this all the time in textbooks. They try to skip those. Now, evolution, number 5, the first 5 anyway, I think is the dumbest and most dangerous idea in the history of the world. It didn't happen. There's no evidence for it. Let's see. Marxism evolution leads straight to Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, abortion, communism, Marxism, rejection of logic, and to hell if you don't trust Christ.